River City Extension, welcome to the Bing Lounge. I was just thinking as you were going through that song, if there's anybody who came in here depressed, I don't think they feel that way anymore. You just can't help but get this incredible vibe from your music. So the new album, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Your Anger, that's the new one. And in fairness, Brooklyn gets mentioned, as does Pittsburgh, but I love that there's a ballad of Oregon involved here. And then you say really true things about, like naked in the woods and things like that. Are you?
That is what you do. Right?
That's what we do here,
yes.
On bikes too.
Okay.
The naked bike ride, you just
Yes.
missed that. You have to get that going in New Jersey somewhere, I
Yes.
guess. Yeah. But so have you spent some time in Oregon that you feel like you guys kind of a vibe for it, right?
I think that we've spent a little bit of time here. It was mostly, especially in the writing of that song, more about the time that wasn't spent here and the mystery about the furthest place that you could possibly travel away from home in the continental United States, and the trip that so many people have made for so many different reasons over such a large period of time, from the East Coast to the West Coast, specifically Oregon, and kind of that needing to leave and needing to find whatever it is that is out here. And I'm not sure I found it yet, but we're certainly looking.
You can keep on writing songs about our fair state. And
Until
city.
I do. Yeah.
Keep them coming. Joe, you're the front man, and you're going to have to introduce the rest of the band to us by name. Now, there are 8 musicians. I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've had more. I think Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros beat you by a couple.
Or Typhoon, I hear, beat us by a few as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
our own Typhoon. But this is great. I wonder how you started the band. Did it start with just you noodling and then people just kept on arriving into the band, or how did that work?
That maybe the best description of it I've heard. That's about exactly correct.
That it just felt too good and people were just coming up, can I be in the band?
I was playing by myself, and we kind of picked up people at shows and et cetera, something like that.
Yeah, it's just great because everybody's got a different instrument and different thing that they bring to it. And there is something amazing about hearing that many people singing together. You can't help but feel lifted by it. And you guys must feel great playing. I would think that it goes both ways. How do you work out songs? How does that work?
Normally I write a song and I bring it to the band, and we kind of talk about and work out an arrangement together. It usually changes on tour as well, as we play a song more and it develops, and we realize what the important parts are to communicate whatever it is that we're trying to communicate with the song to the audience. Sometimes that's just adding a tambourine or taking away a guitar riff or something like that can really help open that line of communication.
Yeah, and so this new album, when did you release it? How fresh is it? It must still be working it out, right, on the road?
Maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago it came out, and we are still working it out, yeah.
Yeah, and we missed your show last night in Portland, and so glad that you're in the Bing, because now we get to really savor what you guys do, and you're heading up to Seattle. So big old open road, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. How's everybody's health? Everybody doing okay? There's a consumptive over
A little more sleep, but besides that, we're okay.
Yeah, well, it's not too far of a ride up to Seattle, so we really appreciate you being here. Joe, I wanted to ask you, and because I like to give this guy a shout out, and you did when you were talking about the making of this album, and it's a guy who's influenced and mentored a lot of other artists, Townes Van Zandt. I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about what attracted you to his music and how we're hearing it reflect.
I never really had a songwriter the way that most people found the Beatles or found Johnny Cash and all of these things that do influence me, and I have a lot of respect for. And I think when I found Townes, he was my songwriter, and my inspiration of the old greats of Americana kind of country songwriting. And what really got me into him was watching this documentary that was put out about his life called Be Here to Love Me. And the story about what it meant to him to be a musician and what it meant to be a songwriter and to share that with other people is just really, really inspiring in the way that Townes took what most people talked about doing or what they wished they were doing with their music. And with just kind of human expression in general and did it fearlessly and paid a lot of consequences for it as well. And it's not even so much that it's recommended to live that way or behave that way as a writer or musician, but it's certainly inspiring, and it's interesting to see him lay himself down for that. And I think a lot of people were hurt because of that in his life, and I think in some respects that's what happens if you really blow off everything to seek that kind of creative zen that he looked for. And I'm not even sure that what he did and who he was the right thing. I wouldn't so much consider him a mentor, but I am very inspired by his music and his story and the way that those things relate and continue to influence songwriters today.
Again, the new album from Ruby City Extension, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Your Anger. It's really wonderful to get to know what you guys and girls are all about here today in the Bing Lounge.
Thank you.